Hello, Namaskar, and a very good afternoon to all the viewers watching our session out there. This is Simran Singh, and you are watching this particular live telecast of NCRT on eVidya channel number 6 to 12. Besides, we have so many different mediums through which you all can connect with us. You can participate in our live interactive sessions. So, one of the mediums is our YouTube channel that you all are well versed with. It is NCRT official. So it's around 4 p.m. on your watch, and regularly from 4 till 5 we have our special sessions running on different channels of eVidya for all of you. So let me welcome you in our series running on Cyber Jaagrookta Diwas. The Ministry of Home Affairs is implementing a scheme that is called the Indian Cyber Crime Coordination Center (IFOC) to deal with cyber crimes in a coordinated and comprehensive manner. And in order to create awareness among students, teachers, parents, administrators or general public, it is proposed to observe Cyber Jaagrookta Diwas on the first Wednesday of every month, and continue to that. We have our sessions running on Cyber Jaagrookta Diwas. So the theme for February 2023 is combating cyber crimes, because it is very important for us to know who is on the other side of the screen. So we have to be safe in the offline world as well as in the online world. So let me quickly provide you a glimpse of the sessions that we have conducted so far under Cyber Jaagrookta Diwas. So the day 1 was 1st of February 2023. We discussed more on cyber crimes, the concept and the need for awareness. Then the second day was on 3rd February, where we provided you more information regarding ransomware and malware attacks. And today it's the third day on 10th of February, where we are discussing more on different aspects associated with phishing and financial frauds. And for the concluding day, that is day 4 on 17th of February, we'll provide you more information on online sexual abuse. And after that, we have our post-session activity, and towards the later segment of the session, I will be guiding you where you can register, how you can register for the quiz or the post-session activity that we have for all of you. So as of now, if you have any queries, anything you would like to ask or discuss, then feel free to give us a call at this contact number which is flashing on your screens. It is 8800440559, and a specific mail ID pertaining to cyber safety is again flashing on your screens. It is cybersafety@ciet.nic.in. Before introducing you to today's guest of the session, I have an important piece of information for all of you regarding G20. We are proud that India assumed the G20 presidency and will convene the G20 Leaders Summit for the first time in the country in this year, that's 2023. The nation is deeply committed to democracy and multilateralism. India's G20 presidency will be a watershed moment in her history, as it seeks to play a major role for finding pragmatic global solutions for the well-being of everyone, and in doing so, manifesting the true spirit of Vasudhaiv Kutumbakam, or the world is one family. So let's get back to our today's conversation on phishing and financial frauds. So providing us more details or inputs into today's session, we have with us Ms. Khushi Seth. Namaskar ma'am. Good evening.
Good evening, ma'am.
We welcome you in this session. Let me also take our viewers across your journey and expertise. Ms. Khushi Seth is practicing as a legal intern at Seth Associates. Besides, she specializes in cyber safety and cyber security. She contributes to digital safety initiatives and has trained with the Gurugram Cyber Cell. Moreover, she renders cyber safety and has contributed her expertise to non-government organizations working for online safety of children. So viewers, you know the different mediums through which you can connect with us. You can participate in our live interactive session with the help of your queries. So feel free to drop your questions in the comment section of NCRT official. So let's begin this conversation on phishing and financial frauds. So in the first place, Khushi ma'am, I'll request you to apprise our viewers more on what are we going to discuss today. Let's begin.
So, a very good evening to everyone.
Good evening.
And today I will be taking a session on phishing and financial fraud, which is very prevalent in our media world today and is accessible to almost everyone, and everyone is under attack of such measures and social engineering attacks. So I will be taking the session for everyone's awareness and for everyone to be cautious regarding these attacks.
All right, so let's begin and get to learn more about it.
So first we have an introduction to phishing. Now you would be wondering about the different types of cyber attacks that are very prevalent and are very dangerous with our data and our personal information today. And one of them is phishing. So phishing is a type of a social engineering attack which is often used to steal our user data. In simpler terms, it is a fraudulent activity which is committed in order to steal confidential user information, and most importantly it is done through either login credentials or emails or asking for your password or OTPs. It is usually a very casual attack. People would think that they are just getting a message or an email with something that they have already inquired for, but it's actually a fake it's a fake masquerade, and it dupes the victim into opening the email and or the instant text message, or an Instagram or Facebook direct message, and through that these attacks are usually performed by such hackers. It is usually committed by using email or other forms of electronic communication by pretending to be a form of a reliable business entity. It could be someone pretending to be a business entity or even one of your close friends or relatives. Here are few types of phishing attacks that I've mentioned in this flow chart. You can see that some of them are very complex terms, but I would just like to explain some of the very important and the ones that are very important to be known, as everyone is victim to these kinds of attacks these days. One of them is spear phishing, next is whaling, then we also have smishing, then there is wishing, and even clone phishing is now. You can see this because of the types of deep fakes that AI is creating. Lots of clones are being formed and you would never know when you would actually be getting scammed. So here are some of the mentioned phishing attacks. You can have a look at them. I'll go to the next slide. Now going more in depth with the types of phishing attacks. First we have email phishing. Now most phishing attacks are sent by email, and this is when a hacker will register a fake domain that mimics a very genuine organization or a genuine person, and the person would not know that the hacker on the other side is actually not genuine and is just like a casual message, and this can lead to different characters being adjusted in the email, and you would not recognize where it's actually a fake one. So you can see the example on the right hand side, and someone has tried to reset the password it's showing, and if you click on the link or call the number and change the password, it will actually go to the hacker. And this way, because they have created a fake email which you have not recognized, you can actually be prone to phishing attack. Here is another case. So fraudsters create these unique domains that include the organization's name in URL. You can see the example that's shown above as olivia@amazonsupport.com, and it is shown that the address is a very genuine one, but you can see that even a small change in letter can lead to you getting scammed and getting into these attacks. And then if you download the attachments, it might have a link in it which can lead to your account and your personal data being stolen by these attackers. So you can see the protocol, the subdomain and the domain that can be shown in the website below. These are websites which you have to carefully analyze and click on, or even type yourself, because many a times when we are searching on the internet and we want to reach a genuine website, we just click on the first 4-5 search buttons and it can actually be a fake website. Next we have spear phishing. So spear phishing is a more sophisticated form of an email. So in spear phishing, you can see these emails are sent to a very specific person, and criminals do this when they already have some of the information about the person. They have to be very careful, and they have to already know something about the victim in order to attack the victim and trap the victim in these kinds of spear phishing. So they can either know their name, their place of employment, their job title, their email address, or any specific information about their job role. Now this is very easily accessible today because we all are either on some or the other social media platform, and these kinds of attackers can easily find our IDs or our accounts, and one of the following information can easily be retrieved, and then we can be prone to these kinds of attacks, because we would think that these people are actually genuine and they actually maybe know us, or they are at our workplace, or they are one of our mutuals. And even if they know any of the following things like our name or employment or job title, which can even be found through LinkedIn these days, then they can easily scam us and trap us in such malicious emails. Next, we also have the fraudster who addresses the individual by name and most often by their job role, involves making bank transfers. So they can ask for bank transfers on behalf of a company, maybe the company that they're working at, and the person or the victim would think that this is a genuine email and it is important and it is required by the company, and then they can fall victim to such attacks. And the informality of the email also suggests that the sender is a native person and is a native speaker, and it creates a sense that maybe this is a real message rather than like a pre-adjusted template by someone, like a AI or some kind of a system defect. So here is some of the information regarding spear phishing working. There's a threat actor that identifies a target and then sends a legitimate looking email. It looks very natural and casual. It looks like it's a real message, but it is actually a kind of a reverse psychology attack to the victim in order to make the victim feel like it is someone they know or someone they should know. So the victim opens the email containing all the malware. It could be links, it could be them asking for some information, it could be asking for bank transfer, and etc. And this way the hacker gains access to steal data and all the private information, or any kind of malware system can also be installed in the victim's desktop or software. Next we have whaling. Whaling is another important phishing attack, and it is more targeted at senior executives. We can also see in recent times many senior doctors were attacked regarding whaling, and this is aimed at the end goal, because it's pretty much the same as other forms of phishing, but the technique is very subtle and it is aimed more towards senior citizens or senior executives of companies. So you can see the example on the right hand side, and here you can see an urgent which is attached in order to make it seem like it is very urgent and important and needs to be done right away, and therefore it can be a kind of way to make the person lure into this direction of being a victim of a phishing attack. So tricks such as fake links and malicious URLs aren't some of the examples that we can see, they aren't helpful in this instance, as criminals are attempting to imitate senior staff. Now criminals are not only using URLs or fake links, which were very dangerous back in the early 2000s and the 2010s, but now we can also see these criminals attempting to imitate senior staff with the introduction of technologies such as AI, virtual reality, and different types of hacking. We can see that criminals are easily able to find other ways of hacking and transferring information which is confidential, and it could be very sensitive to the company, and it can lead to a huge ransomware attack. So next we have smishing and wishing. So these are two very similar kinds of attacks which come under phishing. So both of these attacks are linked to telephonic communication. So telephones replace emails as the method of communication in this. And to start with smishing, it involves the criminals sending text messages, the content of which is pretty much the same as with email phishing, and wishing involves a telephonic conversation. So in smishing, a message is sent, and in wishing, a person is right away calling the other person in order to scam the person with their data. So here is a message example you can see towards the right. It is showing, please be aware the COVID-19 restrictions in your region were updated and you were recorded as leaving your home yesterday. Follow the link to pay the fine of £50. Now you can see government.uk coronavirus is a link that is mentioned, which is a malicious link and can lead to a phishing attack through the text messages. Now if a person were to look at this message, they would be certainly alarmed and would think that they have done something wrong, especially during a time like COVID. So people were prone to clicking these links, and this way their sensitive information was gathered by these attackers, and they were successful in taking away their data and even taking away bank transactions and a lot of money from a lot of people's accounts. Now, one of the most common smishing pretexts are messages supposedly from your bank ordering you to suspicious activity. So you can see the example on the right, which is showing an HSBC alert. It is requesting for a new payee for the account of Dr. D. Fraser. This was not done by you, is meant by the attacker to kind of imitate a bank teller into telling the person who is under this attack that they are now under some kind of a bank fraud already, even if it's not even committed. So the link which is given, if it's clicked on, then all the information is then again retrieved by these hackers, and it is very easy in today's times, and it is not at all a safe practice, and all of your information can be taken away. So please be careful when you are clicking links. Please always ask someone if you are not sure about it, and please do not click on these links. In this example, you can see that the victim of fraud is telling the person to link some of their account information to prevent any further damage. However, this link directs the recipient to a website controlled by the fraudster and designed to capture your banking details. So this website, which is a fake website, it's created exactly like the original website of an HSBC bank, and this way the person would think that this is the original website that they've clicked on, and they would enter their login credentials and their credit card details, and the fraudster will be able to collect all of the information very easily. Next we have how to prevent phishing scams. So now that we have already covered all the important phishing scams that are very prevalent in the society today, we would also want to look at the ways to prevent these phishing scams. So I would like to first start with protecting your computer by using a security software. There are many security softwares available out there like Quick Heal, Norton, etc. And you can set such software updates to automatic. You can automatically allow the software to be updated on your phone so that it will deal with any new security threats. You can see this in many phone companies that they have already inbuilt security softwares so that there are no fake apps or fraudulent apps or any other websites downloaded into such softwares or into their phones or their iClouds, etc. Now, the second point is to protect your cell phone by setting software to update automatically. These updates will also give a lot of protection against security threats. It is pretty much similar to the first point, but this is individual to your cell phone. The third point would be in order to formulate multi-factor authentication. Even two-factor authentication would be okay, but many phones are introducing multi-factor authentication into their apps as well. So some accounts offer extra security, such as many websites like Facebook and Instagram are now offering two-factor or four-factor authentication. We can also see this in many other apps like Twitter, but Twitter is also changing many of its internal softwares right now, so we are not too sure about the kind of information that they would need for security threats. So they require 2 or more credentials to log into your account, and this is a very good safety measure in order to prevent any kind of fraudsters or any kind of malicious attacks to enter into your account. This is called as multi-factor authentication, and these extra credentials you need to log into your account will fall into 3 categories. Now we have 3 categories mentioned below. First is someone you would know, like a passcode or an answer to a security question, or it could be like a hint. You would see many apps providing a hint, and that can also be a security measure. Now something you have. It could be a one-time verification passcode like an OTP or an email or from an authentication app or some kind of a security key. The third one would be something you are, like a scan of your fingerprint. Right now fingerprints are very much into the security realm, and you can also see people using retinas or their faces. But I would not recommend the face ID because many people can also clone your faces at this point with the idea of deepfake and technology and AI. So the next one would be multi-factor authentication, which makes it harder for scammers to log into your account if they do get your username and password. So username and password are not the only barrier to enter your account. You also have all these other multi-factors that will help in making it a safer process for you to access your accounts. The third step would be the next step would be protecting your data by backing it up. By backing it up in your computers to an external hard drive or in the iCloud. Now here are very minute details that I have mentioned in order to prevent phishing attacks. Here are basics that you should know and everyone should be aware of. So please, if you want, you can note these down and always be careful with these kinds of information. So first would be know what phishing scams look like. Now that we have identified many phishing scams, you would know that you can easily access and easily verify which kinds of phishing scams are trying to retrieve your information. Next would be don't give your information to an unsecured site. Easily we are able to give information, accept cookies into websites. We are easily taking away our own privacy by giving them all of these information. So please do not give your information to an unsecured site. So all of this information is very, very necessary to be followed. Next would be to rotate passwords regularly. Formulate a good password and rotate it regularly so that your account is not prone to getting hacked. Next would be to install firewalls. So installing firewalls is also very important. I have mentioned a few security data softwares like QuickHeal and Norton. You can install those. Next would be do not be tempted by those pop-ups. You can see whenever you're on a website or you're even mailing someone or you're trying to find something on the website, there are many pop-ups that appear, and when they are clicked on, they are actually taking away your personal data and stealing a lot of your information, and it could also steal your search history. So please don't be tempted by such pop-ups and do not click on them. Next would be not to give out important information unless you must. Unless it is very important and you know it is safe, do not give out any important information. This last and the second last would be having a data security platform to spot signs of an attack like Quick Heal, and do not click on random links. I think we are all established with this a thing that we don't have to click on random links anymore, and it is very important to always be sure of the URL that we are clicking on. Next we have financial fraud. Now that we have moved on from the topic of phishing, I would like to introduce you to another form of online cyber attack, which is called as financial fraud. So financial fraud occurs when someone takes money or other assets from you through deception or criminal activity. This could also include any kind of your investments, any stocks that you include online, and these scams can occur in relation to credit cards, your debit cards, ATM, online payment, and business transactions. So all of these credentials that are given below, they are all prone to financial fraud, and these can also include investment, stocks, money, and Bitcoin and crypto, etc. Now, about India, here's a little bit of information that I would like to share with you. So today, India ranks second only to China with more than 690 million active internet users, which constitute almost 41% of India's total population. So our country's total population's 41% have access to the internet. Now, on the back of this massive digital penetration, many services have flourished in both rural and urban India, particularly in online banking and online payment transactions, etc. Digital payments and online banking are sectors that have witnessed a tremendous boost, with consumers preferring to transact online given the ease that it offers. So, online transactions have a lot of ease, like Paytm, UPI, etc. We have witnessed the massive surge in banking and cyber frauds where both consumers and banks have been affected. Hence, it is important to create awareness about fraudsters and continue to take steps to curb their actions. So, these digital payments and online banking sectors are very prone to getting a tremendous financial fraud or a lot of cyber fraud, which can also take away banks' informations as well. So these big companies and banks are also affected, along with people's personal and individual accounts. Next, here we have types of online financial frauds. So you can see the types of online financial frauds, which also include phishing. Now, phishing was something that we have already covered, and here are the types of phishing as well, which are included in financial frauds. There's CEO fraud, there's identity theft fraud, lottery free scams, online shopping frauds, work from home scams, stolen card scam, and invoice fraud. Now you can see lottery free scams are very easily accessible, because many people are entering into the lottery in order to find luck, and easily because of this they are able to click on such links on malicious websites and enter such information, which can lead to them which can lead to the fraudsters retrieving a lot of their personal information and their bank transactions. So you can have a look at all of these types of financial frauds, and I can move to the next slide. Now, another important point regarding financial frauds is that the central banks across the world have reported that these frauds have become more sophisticated and have been increasing in numbers. Now people were already replicating checks in the earlier times. Now it has led to a different kind of editing online, which can lead to these bank transactions and these financial frauds with online Paytm, UPI, Bharat Pay, etc. These kinds of online transactional apps have also had such scams happening. So the amount of money involved in these frauds has also increased tremendously because of the amount of users that have access to these websites. So Indian banks are continuously and effectively taking measures to raise awareness among consumers and have updated their technology to deal with such cyber attacks. So I would like to mention a very primary effect of cybercrime, which is financial. That is why we are covering this aspect today, because in today's world, everything is taking place online, including the flow of our money. So cybercrime can include many different types of profit-driven criminal activity, including ransomware attacks, email and internet fraud, identity theft fraud, as well as attempts to steal financial account, credit card or other payment card information. So I would like to mention some very important information which I have retrieved from cybercrime.gov.in, which is a very important website. If you are ever under any financial or cyber attack, you can always reach out to this website, and they have numbers and emails that you can reach out to, so that you are able to retrieve any loss that you have that has occurred due to such scams. So you should report the financial fraud within 24 hours of its occurrence. So within 24 hours of its occurrence is when the financial fraud should be reported, and you need to report it to the police on www.cybercrime.gov.in. It's mentioned here and you can always note it down. So 1930 is the financial fraud helpline number. This has been updated, and please do note this down as it is very important, and it is the only helpline number. So please, if you are ever under any kind of cyber attack, you can always call this number within 24 hours. So this reporting platform has been made operational by the Indian Cybercrime Coordination Center, 14C, under the Ministry of Home Affairs. So the Indian Cybercrime Coordination Center is where all of these kinds of decisions are made under the Ministry of Home Affairs, with active support and cooperation from the Reserve Bank of India, along with all major banks and payment banks, as well as wallets, Paytm gateways, payment gateways and online merchants. Citizens Financial Cyber Frauds Reporting and Management System is another important website where you can always have information and awareness regarding such cybercrime attacks. As cybercrime continues to increase, banks and financial institutions have also adopted a proactive approach to cybersecurity. Financial fraud and identity theft can be effectively beaten, given that banks are already investing heavily in a robust security infrastructure along with educating their customers. So even banks' websites are very easily hacked these days. So it is important that the banks have security measures that can at least keep their infrastructure and all of their information of the consumers and the customers safe. So the Reserve Bank of India is very proactive in conducting drives around financial awareness in banks as well as in companies. Here are some of the steps that are required for reporting of financial cyber frauds. Like I've already mentioned, this is kind of a summary of all the information regarding financial frauds, including the number as well as the website. And a bank or a financial intermediary or payment wallet can also report financial cyber fraud through above mentioned modes. So you can also reach out to your bank or the payment wallet where your cyber fraud has been committed, and they can also report directly to the financial cyber fraud through these above mentioned modes. So on receipt of complaint, the designed police officer, so the designated officer will quickly examine the matter and investigate. You can also report the fraud to concerned bank or financial intermediary for blocking the money involved in the financial cyber fraud and blocking any debit or credit cards. So we would see this, that usually if there is a fraud reported, then the bank or the financial payment wallet will block the credit or the debit card so that no money is flowing in and out of the credit card. Thereafter, due action as per law will be taking place in each case by the police, the bank, the payment wallet, and the financial intermediary. So use of this facility will help a victim of financial cyber fraud in retrieving the money and help police in identifying the cyber criminals. That is why we have a cyber police cell also these days, because cyber police is actively working and taking legal action as per law in order to identify such cyber criminals and hackers and fraudsters that are taking all of these security data and measures away from these financial bases, and the financial cyber fraud is always blocking the different kinds of debit or credit cards that are provided by the bank. So the source is also mentioned below if you want to reach out and retrieve any sort of information. You can always look at these sources and always be aware about these transactions. So now I could take any questions.
Thank you so much, ma'am, for sharing all these details in depth with all our viewers. And I assume that the viewers watching this session might have clearly understood the concept of cybersecurity and safety and why we need to protect ourselves. Here I would like to apprise everyone that we still have around 15 minutes left in the conversation. So ma'am, we have few questions for you as you mentioned. So if you allow, could we take those questions?
Yes.
So ma'am, whenever we are registering for maybe a new application, or we are trying to submit something or creating our mail IDs, so while setting passwords, sometimes it is not able to take the password as it mentions that the password is not strong enough, or maybe it's a replica of already something used by another person. So how can we ensure that we create strong passwords and at the same time remember them? Because I have heard that we shouldn't write our passwords anywhere.
Yes. So it is very important to remember these passwords, and like you said, we cannot write it anywhere because it can easily be accessible to any wrong person. So we should always formulate the password by alphanumeric measures with special characters. So you can include alphabets as well as numbers and add a special character. For example, if we were to write a password right now, we could write Sate Associates 1234 at the rate, and that could be a password. It also includes alphabets, numbers, and a special character. You can include one or more special characters, and it can also make the password stronger. So do not limit the password to only maybe alphabets or only numbers. Always make it a mix of different alphanumeric and special characters so that the password is very strong and cannot be accessible to anyone else.
Answering that question, and our viewers might take a note of that. So ma'am, the another question that I have for you is if you would like to state or suggest some of the anti-malware softwares that our viewers can use and try and refrain from sharing their information or saving their personal data for themselves.
Yes. So when I was introducing phishing, I had mentioned two very important anti-malware security devices that they can include in their software. One of them was Quick Heal, the other one would be Norton. I would also recommend two other ones that are McAfee and Casper Sky. So you can include any one out of the four: Quick Heal, Norton, McAfee, and Casper Sky.
Thank you. And ma'am, while discussing about sensitive data, I would like to ask you what all comprises in our sensitive information, and at the same time, what possible measures we should take so that it is not shared ahead or somehow it doesn't go to any other person who has any malicious aim behind it.
Yes, so sensitive financial data or sensitive data in general is it is very important that you are sharing it to the right person, and do not share it with if you're feeling that it should not be shared at the moment. So it includes OTP, even your Aadhaar card at this point. Aadhaar card is very crucial and it should not get in the hands of the wrong people or the wrong websites. So your OTP, your Aadhaar card, credit and debit card pins, or any kind of sensitive details regarding your credit card or debit card. Any other passwords or net banking pins should also not be shared. But most importantly, in today's times, people are very easily sharing their OTPs. So I think OTP would be something that you should not share.
Or ma'am, some pinpoints that you could share. For example, if we receive a mail with a so and so username, so that might be malicious. Anything in that context you could share so that we can be more aware of how to protect ourselves.
Yes. So if you are receiving a mail which you are not sure you are you know that person or you know that company or the website through which you have received the mail, even opening the mail would be a dangerous task. But if the mail mentions any sort of thing that you should do which is important, or it mentions a link, then please do not click on such things or any pop-ups that appear, which could be tempting, which could be something that you might actually need, because these kinds of fraudsters, they kind of know some personal information about you, maybe something regarding your job or your career that they know, and they can easily create some sort of a pop-up that could attract the person to such a link or such a URL, and they would click on it and easily all of their information can be taken away. So remember URL, the uniform resource locator, and you can also always be cautious of all the emails that you are sending and all the people who you're actually have contact with on email, and any other kind of email that you receive from an unknown source. Then make sure you're very cautious when you are dealing with opening it and clicking on it or replying to it even. So please do not even reply. Maybe sometimes that could also be a risky task.
And ma'am, nowadays we are making more and more use of digital payments, maybe UPIs or any other methods, and net banking is also one of them, which clearly we should use as a part of the Digital India campaigns. But my question is, when we are doing any payment online, how to be very sure of the website that we are using, whether it is authentic or not?
Yes. So when we are searching a particular website, say on Google or on Google Chrome, etc., there are always search options that appear. We should never ever click on those search options and then right away go into that website, because it could be a fake website which is created by scammers or hackers or any kind of malicious software even. So we should always remember the full URL, and we should always type it out, and then we would be directly led into the safe and secure and original website where we can maybe it could be a payment website, a net banking website like Paytm, the Paytm wallet, etc., or the credit card information or the debit card information, we could be directly led to the original website if we just type out the URL ourselves. So HTTPS, then we could type the whole thing, and that would be much safer than just clicking on one of the search bars and then being led to some could be potentially a fake website which can also take away all of your information, and then it can lead to financial fraud.
And ma'am, in the context of today's generation and the more usage of social media, so do you think that there are any chances that with social media or the different social media platforms that we are using, there might be a risk of leaking our personal information, might be a risk of sharing too much online?
So people are anyways unaware that they have already shared too much online. So even if you are right now you have an account, it is already out there and some of your information will already be out there. But we can obviously not just completely isolate ourselves from the new age of data and in the internet. So we cannot obviously isolate ourselves, but we can be safe. So people are getting scammed even on these social media websites and these pages like Instagram, Facebook, and Snapchat, from which Instagram is very prevalent now because you can direct message anyone with anything and they will open it or click on the links or even reply to you, or even if you are following them back, they can have access to your information. That is why it is very important that if you have any doubts whether a person does not have a genuine account or is coming from a fake account or it could be a bot, then please do not engage with such accounts, and if possible maintain a private account. And I know many people have public accounts, which is maybe sometimes necessary because of the careers that they are in, but it is very important to have two-factor authentication installed. Then it is important because these apps also provide two-factor authentication. So you can go into the settings and into security. There's a security bar, and then you can click on the security bar and always enter a way for the account to be secure other than just your username and password. It would also require two-factor authentication, which could be through email or OTP or text message. And that would be a very safe thing to do in today's times because people's accounts are getting hacked every day.
Of course. Thank you so much for sharing all these essential details and information with all our viewers, and I am quite sure that the information will turn out to be very beneficial for everyone watching this session. Thanks a lot, Khushi ma'am, for connecting with us.
Thank you. Thank you.
So all the viewers, we still have around 5 minutes left in this conversation. So as you are willing to know how you can log into our website and how you can access the post session activity, that is the quiz link. So let's glue our eyes to the screen for the next 5 minutes. So all you have to do is type www.ciet.nic.in and you will land on the home page of CIET website. Now here there are a number of options for all our viewers, all details about CIET, the activities that we are conducting, and among these options the sixth one from here says events. So if you would like to know more about this particular activity or the Cyber Jaagrookta series that we are having for you, just click on events. The third last option says workshop and training. So you will land on this page and there are three kinds of activities displayed on this page: current activity, completed, and the upcoming ones. So the completed retains the already ones that we have done previously conducted by CIET and NCERT. The upcoming activity will entail the details of the ones that are going to be in the near future, and the current activity we have right from 1st till 17th. We are not having it in continuity, as I already informed you that these are the 4 sessions for all of you on 1st February, 3rd February, 10th February, and the concluding one will be on 17th February. So let's get to know more about this theme, that is combating cyber crimes, and the sessions that we are conducting under it. So once you click on this, You will get all the details about Cyber Jaagrookta Diwas that is organized by CIET NCERT. The theme for February 2023 is combating cybercrimes. Now, as I informed in the beginning of this session, that the Ministry of Home Affairs is implementing a scheme that is called the Indian Cybercrime Coordination Center. I foresee to deal with cybercrimes in a coordinated and comprehensive manner. So moving ahead, you can see that there is a banner for all of you so that you can check the minute detailing of the sessions against the dates and the topics that are played over them. So for the day 1, it was on cyber crimes concept, need and awareness, need for awareness. Then it is ransomware and malware attacks. Today we discussed more on phishing and financial frauds. And on the concluding day, that is the day 4, we'll have a session on 17th February on online sexual abuse. Now, you can read out the listed objectives of these training sessions for all of you. And the best part is whether it's students, teachers, teacher educators, parents, administrators or general public, etc. You all can participate in the post-session activity. You can participate in our quiz. Now, we have the program schedule. So, you can manage your time accordingly and you can watch our training sessions. In case for any reason if you miss out on our training sessions, and the video links are also uploaded against the details of the resource persons, the title of the session, the days and the respective dates. Now, how you can participate in the post-session activity, this is the most important area. So, there are certain steps laid down for all of you. The step 1 is registration. So, you can register yourself by clicking on this link or scanning the QR code that is there on your website. Then you can watch the live panel discussion on different mediums. One of them is eVidya channels 6 to 12, NCERT official and various other mediums for you. Then participation in the post-session activity and certification. So, let me apprise you that the post-session activity is actually quiz and it will be conducted based on the 4 sessions that we already mentioned for all of you, and today is the day 3 for those sessions. It will be released at the end of the 4th session on 17th February 2023. To get a certificate, participate and score 70% and above. So, if you score over 70%, you will also receive a certificate. And make sure that participants are allowed to take just one attempt at the quiz, and the certificate will be issued in the next 15 days. And you know that your feedback really matters a lot to us. So, you can keep on writing your feedback to us either in the comment section or by connecting with us to different mediums, or here is a specific feedback form for all of you. And again, if you have any queries, anything you would like to know, then our mail ID is right there, that is cybersafety@ciet.nic.in. Besides, you know our contact number through which you can give us a call anytime you want. It is 8800 440 559. And it's now time for me to wrap up this conversation with the important piece of information regarding G20. We are proud that India assumed the G20 presidency and will convene the G20 Leaders Summit for the first time in the country in this year, that is 2023. The nation is deeply committed to democracy and multilateralism. India's G20 presidency will be a watershed moment in her history as it seeks to play a very major role by finding pragmatic global solutions for the well-being of everyone, and in doing so manifesting the true spirit of Vasudhaiv Kutumbakam, or the world is one family. Thank you to all the viewers for connecting with us in this live interactive session. Stay tuned. Next up, we have our Sahyog session for all of you, where we try to provide guidance for mental well-being and psychosocial support to all the students and viewers viewing our sessions out there. So, take very good care of yourself both in the offline and online world, and keep watching eVidya channels for more such information. Namaskar.